Hello, everyone. A little scratch here. Good evening. This is Zach from GBC Live. We are going to be joined by Greg and Paul from Don's Bicycles in a second, along with Vic, to talk about the plane wrap ride. Couple of announcements. Well, first of all, if you saw on Instagram earlier today about Matt Freeman, who's a local coach over there, former GBC Live guest, is having some health issues and is fundraising. And I'll be adding in here a link to his GoFundMe. Really encourage everyone to jump in there. He has super good music taste too. So we had to talk with him about that as well. But let me quickly throw this in the comments section. So for people who are jumping in a second, please go ahead and help support him and his family. I double clicked it. So let's just bring everyone in and say hello to Greg, Paul, and Vic. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hello. Howdy.
Yeah. Now, when we've got four people on, we have to try and keep it as awkward as possible and wait a few extra seconds to talk and see how that flies. So, well, first of all, we saw a few people. We had our Send It ride up in Big Bear this weekend, and we had a few people up there in Don's Bicycles jerseys. So first of all, tell us a little bit about the shop, which means a lot to the whole area.
So yeah, Don started in 1959 in Rialto. It's a family-owned business. And then about 13 years ago, we opened a store in Redlands, California, where I work at. And time has flown. It's, we do all the categories of bikes. Once again, we have a really great staff. We're all about the community. Getting people on bikes, any kind of bike. BMX, kids, road, gravel, mountain, e-bikes are obviously the huge thing right now, and will continue to be. And yeah, it's a fun place to work. And we have like a Monday night recovery ride, road bike ride that we do, and it's been going on for like 2 years now. And just kind of, I do a little bit of advertising of it, but it's just become kind of a thing that people know about, and get people on mountain bikes, e-bikes, a lot of road bikes, of course, and gravel bikes. So it's something we do pretty regularly through the shop. So, and then, going into, trying to do more events and everything. That's where, Greg Armstrong with the plane wrap ride, which we've, known Greg, through Don's for a really long time. It's been awesome to bring that to a fall edition last year as a road ride. And then this year, once again, and then adding the gravel ride. That's why we're here to talk about, and it's exciting for us because we know it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, but this ride itself has its origins. It's not new. It's been around for many years.
The road ride, yeah. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah. Just a little background. I've been a ride director for, actually, I've counted up 21 prior cycling events, starting in 2005. So this will be number 22. In 2012, 7 years in, I partnered up with Corey McCroskey, and Corey McCroskey had a shop in Pomona, 85 years in business, Coach Cyclery. He closed that down when he became and he's now the Western sales manager for Bianchi Bicycles. And that's where we put on the first several plane wrap rides. People ask, particularly younger people like my kids, why did you call it the plane wrap ride? Well, for those youngsters out there, back in the 80s, you could walk into most grocery stores, 7-Eleven, Circle K's, and you'd see packages wrapped in white paper with a blue stripe or blue border. And above it, it would say beer, cigarettes, sporks, matches, generic products. But they were priced less and just the basic items in there, no fancy frills. So that same idea of being plain wrap was what we incorporated in this ride and why we called it that. Keep it simple without a lot of frills at an affordable price. Give all the essentials, but not a lot of extraneous items that a lot of rides have and charge a lot more money. So that's why we call it the Plane Wrap Ride. Fast forward to from 2012 to this year, we still offer the same great value with 3 excellent routes, ride support, 2 great rest stops. In fact, my wife, who has her earphones in, she's done just about as many events running rest stops as I have. And she's got crazy good food at the rest stops. Anyway, we have that and a post-ride barbecue. So you got the rest stops, the ride support, 3 great routes, and a post-ride barbecue for $40. Not that I go to McDonald's, but I doubt you could get out of McDonald's for much less than $40. So it's always been about value. It's not been about making money. It's really to support local independent bike shops now, which I'm so delighted that we were able to partner last year for the first year with Don's Bicycles. I've known the owner, Scott McAfee, for about 20 years. By the way, he held the record on Breathless Agony for, Paul, how many years did he hold the record there? A long time.
Quite a long time, yeah.
Yeah, it was like 8 to 10 years, something like that. Anyway, so last year, and I did Strada Rosa like 3 years ago, and I thought, man, we should have a gravel event. There's great routes out here, great roads, I should say, great dirt out here. We should be doing this. So when we were adopted, the Plane Wrap Ride was adopted by Don's Bike Shop. I was really excited because I knew Paul was an avid gravel cyclist, and he really spearheaded this decision to bring the gravel route option for this year's ride.
Yeah, so last year, and like the folks, some of our team riders, so the DRT Don's Race Team, which is a nonprofit, and everybody, we have a great group of riders, all the different categories, and a couple of them joined you guys up in Big Bear. And so last year, because, local community ride in Redlands, Yucaipa, Loma Linda area, which is the community is so great here. When we did the Plane Wrap Ride, it was a cooler temps, dirt was pretty good. And so like some of the DRT riders and local gravel riders wanted to do the Plane Wrap Ride, but they wanted to kind of split off 10 miles into it and do some gravel. So that's when I was thinking, and with having one gravel event, kind of backing up a little bit, in Redlands, which has always been the Strada Rosa, which is just an iconic event, sells out every year. They do such a great job. And I've always thought, man, we should, like Greg said, have another gravel event at the other end of the year. And then with having some of the riders last year do some gravel during, the Plane Wrap Ride, it just kind of thought, this year we got to add a gravel event. So I got with Michael Hill, which you guys know him. He's part of the Strada Rosa, and I kind of say, hey, this is what we're wanting to do. He knows all the trails so well. Kind of give us the best of what you can with distances, and it's it's going to be a fun, challenging course. And so he helped us create the route, and just to add something else besides the 2 road routes, which are also a lot of fun and. Different challenges. Like we do the Oak Glen climb on the roadside, and then we have anything in Redlands is not flat really unless you go out in the industrial area. So going up into Yucaipa, and there's a 30 miler, there's like still 2,000 feet of climbing. So that's
Sunset Loop too.
Yeah, and we add the Sunset Loop, which is beautiful, just scenery, great views. So that's where the gravel side came in for this year. So,
well, we know and love Michael, and if he has anything to do with it, it's going to be crazy good. Every time I've done in Strada Rosa, I love it. I was telling him that in Big Bear, him and Brian.
Absolutely, yeah. They're always just about every year have great weather. They've had some rainy days, but hopefully we have good weather too, and the dirt's good. And we get a little more green on the hills because it's a little dry right now. But so yeah, we going up. When we do like the flyby, Zach was saying, sorry about the route, kind of break down some of the highlights of the course. So
AccuWeather shows projects temperature of high of 82 and I think a low of 59 So it should be pretty nice.
Yeah, Greg's gonna be on course with a hose, making sure only like 50 miles, so no problem.
Hey, I got to tell you, it's funny. Last year it was 49 at the top of Oak Glen, and I had newspapers for the descent, and you could just tell how old people were by what the hell do you have a newspaper for?
What are you doing?
What's a newspaper?
That goes with the plane wrap.
They gonna read on the descent?
What is plane wrap? We have to wear white with blue stripes. Like what is that?
Now, Vic, I have a kit that says Jersey.
Oh, there you go.
Right? And the shorts say shorts. They don't say bibs. I would have preferred bibs, but it gives you that concept.
Wow.
Wow.
All right.
Well, I mean, for one thing, it's strange how Southern California does not have a lot of events at the end of the year. And yet, here we are hailing how we've got great weather year round. Maybe the summer's a little bit too hot, but once you get into fall, we do have a couple blips where it does get super hot. But I think you're playing with house money if you're going for a ride in late October to get out there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And if you're a car fan, we have last year we had one of our customers. He has the Ford GT. He has one of the newer ones, and beautiful car, sounds great. So he let her ride out, and then this year he has the older body version, like I think it's a 06, and so he's bringing that, and it's just a cool looking car. Just kind of geek out over it, and it's gonna sound great leading out all the riders. So. And then, in plane wrap ride is always known for great sag stops. And so with the gravel route, because it's going to run run with this road ride a little bit, but then because it tells off a little bit, we'll have a gravel sag stop just for the gravel riders. So there'll be 2 for them, and then the one main one for the road riders this year. So,
well, I'm sorry. What's the distance choices for the gravel?
Well, there's just one route, and it's going to be 44 miles with 4,800 feet of climbing, and it's actually the hardest of all the routes.
Okay.
I was thinking possibly, we will mark the course. There'll definitely be a GPS file that people can follow. But there's some, we were at a meeting today, and Greg was saying on part of the course, looking at your GPS, it starts taking you off if it's a fork. So some of those areas that are a little weird at first we'll mark. But if, people want to get halfway through it and do some big miles, it's a pretty easy ride back into Redlands. But with the sag stops, the weather, I think, everybody will be successful in having a great ride.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, let me pull up through modern technology this map, and we'd love for everyone to comment a little bit on the course, just for people on the outside. If you can kind of see, the red is the gravel course. You can see a little bit of a white highlight in here, and that's the paved course. So as you can see, they cross a couple small places, but primarily 2 pretty different routes. So why don't you walk us through, and I'll try and navigate.
So the course runs, I'll call it clockwise. So we're starting from Don's Bikes, which is on Redlands Boulevard, and Cypress or Palm, the cross street. So pretty much everyone's heading out together. All the 2 different road rides and the dirt ride, and then
8 o'clock
at 8 o'clock. Yes, good point. And so we'll make our way towards Crafton Hills Conservancy, and so it's a slight grade as you're doing that. So let's see, we're still kind of going through town where it's road. And then we'll make a right turn and head up through a part, like we nickname it Dangerland, and then that goes into Sand Canyon, and then you're going to be on Sand Canyon for a little bit, and then you'll enter kind of where the roads connect right there. You'll enter into the Crafton Hills Conservancy, and then go up. Thunderbird is really the first like more single track trail. So you'll go up Thunderbird, and then into so that's and Thunderbird's it's fun. It's a little challenging with some sharp switchbacks. It's rideable, but definitely if people want to take their time or dismount, I mean it's a hiking and bike riding route, and that's it right there. It kind of weaves through that little canyon up to the top, which is the Fire Road. So, and that's a climb too. So it's very the ride, I'll call it stacked with a lot of climbing at the beginning, and then you kind of descend back into Redlands. So if you know the area, Yucaipa does sit at a little higher elevation than Redlands. So that's the Fire Road right there in Crafton Hills Conservancy, and then you'll be descending into it's called Grape Street Trail, and then those little bodies of water. Those are some reservoirs they have right there. And then you'll descend kind of back into some homes on Grape Street. And then that's where kind of where the squiggly right there, the single track starts. That's the end of the Grape Street Trail. And that's where we'll have, and I'm at pretty much mile 12 and a half, we'll have our first sag stop right there. And that's, it's a lot of climbing to that point. Nothing extremely steep, but it's going to be a nice kind of refreshing time to maybe fill your bottles up, get some snacks, because I would say you're at that point maybe halfway through the climbing, and then as you
climbing.
What's that?
It's a lot of climbing.
No, it is. Yeah, it's definitely challenging, but once again, it's all get through it in the first 30 miles, 35 miles. Then it's not so bad coming back through. And there'll be another sag stop, which we'll get to at mile 25. Wow. So at that point, you're in Yucaipa. Well, you've been in Yucaipa. And then so you'll make your way kind of more slight gradient going up. And we're going to be making our way to El Dorado Park. And that's the park where there's like a highlighted circle you have there. Mm-hmm. So that's El Dorado Park. It's not a really large park, but there's some great trails in there. Fire roads, single track. So we're kind of just riding through it. We're not doing like, if anybody's done the Strada Rosa, you do quite a bit more trails in that, and it's fun, diverse style trail. But we're just going to ride through it to Oakland Road, and then you descend for a real short bit, and then make your way to Wildwood Park. So, that's another little bit of a climb, but not too bad. It's a fire road. And then you'll enter the park at that point through this little valley, and keep going, straight through that to Wildwood Road. And then there's a connector. So Avenue E is a big, long avenue that runs through Yucaipa. And it's really cool because at the top of it, there's like a kind of I won't call it hidden, but there's some ranches and there's dirt fire roads. And so we enter that off of Wildwood.
I saw a deer there 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so, sorry, my dog's barking.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said a deer.
Got him going.
Where?
And so, at that point, let's see where we're at. We're on, that's Avenue E, which is dirt, fire road, and then enter paved Avenue E at that point. And then that's really a descent from there going down.
Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar. I know Strada Rosa went the opposite direction, I think last year on those too.
The last couple of years, it was kind of the opposite way besides the Crafton part. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I just noticed this right now, traffic circles. Are you, before the ride, going to explain to people what traffic circles are in case they've never come across these before?
That's a good point. Yeah, that might be worth doing because they're definitely different here in SoCal. Unless you watch the Tour de France, you may not be used to them. And they're putting more and more of them in Ukaipa, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, they're on gravel. The guys on gravel are just going to ride right over it. They'll just go straight.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
Okay. And
And
then
girls.
you said around mile 25, you said there's a rest stop around here.
Yeah. So it's going to be, we're going to have to make a little adjustment for the GPS file, but at mile 25, yeah, there is the rest stop right there.
Okay. All right. And then we're going through some city streets for a little while, and then this section here, I don't think I've ever ridden this dirt before over in this part underneath the Crafton Hills.
We might bypass that. That's I'm sorry, my dog. That city, yeah, that we might bypass that because we got to go 2 blocks down to do the sag stop. So we'll make a little tweak. So we're actually going to probably not have that part on the, and it's a bridle path that goes behind the homes.
Okay. But then it eventually reconnects back to kind of like where we went up Thunderbird, and then cutting back across, and then we're going on the other side of the freeway for some more dirt.
Yeah, exactly. So at that point, we enter into, let's see. So yeah, we're going to Oakmont Park is what you're looking at there, which has definitely been in quite a bit of Strada Rosa over the last few years. So more fire road. And then you go up a little bit of a ridge and called Oakmont Ridge is what you see where it kind of gets real tight with the red lines being gathered tightly there. It's a kind of a ridge road that once again, it's a, rideable. That's a bit of a climb, some switchbacks, and then into the ridge itself.
Okay. Yeah. I remember, I don't know if I've ever gone up in this direction before, but I remember this part right here. You're kind of riding over the ledge, and it's really cool how you sweep in and out.
Yep. Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, it's scenic. Hopefully, it's a little green because during Strada Rosa, it's so beautiful out there with the mountaintops and the snow, and then these fields are definitely super duper green. So yeah, it's hiking. They put some gates up. I think horses were riding on it, but it's kind of narrow and some steep edges.
It's very thin.
Yeah, so now it's just cycling and hikers.
Oh, good.
Okay, but even after we get off the dirt here, we're not done with dirt yet.
No, but the good news is it's kind of descending. There's no more sustained climb, so it will be a nice relief after climbing up into Ukaipa.
And then this part. Yeah. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Well, so yeah, you're popping out onto Sunset. So like what Greg was bringing up early on the road ride, I mean, Sunset is a highlight of Redlands. I mean, it's raced on a lot. It's just beautiful views, beautiful homes, just a lot of history up there. So you get right through that just for a little bit, and then we're going to go back off, because the cool thing about Sunset is there's all these little off trails that are part of the Conservancy. We have one called like Teddy's Trail, which is a cool kind of down into this little valley and then back up. We're not doing that, but they're just like, I guess my point is, lots of little cool offshoots off of Sunset. So what we're doing is right there, you start to descend down into this canyon, which leads you eventually to the Redlands Conservancy, which is Oakmont, and then also the carriage trail. So that's a nice, fun single track, and we have a local rider who maintains it. It's really awesome of him because a lot of, in the wintertime, water runs through that. So it's maintained for the most part, it's not ever really bad shape, I'll say. And then at this point, what we're seeing here is the carriage trail, which once again, a lot of history with like that Orange Grove, that San Timateo Canyon, which the train also goes through. But we're not going to have to worry about any of that stoppage from that, because we're all pretty much on I'll say the north side of that. So yeah, that's all the carriage trail. And then once we exit that, you do climb up Fern, right there. And then at that point, the dirt's done. It's all road ride, a couple blocks back to Don's Bikes, and then that will complete the gravel edition for the plane wrap ride.
Is the guy that maintains the trail named Joe?
Yes. Yep.
I met him at Big Bear. I rode with him a lot.
That's right. Yeah, he did it. Yeah. It's awesome. Yep.
He told me he did it. I was like, wow, dude, I felt his muscles.
Yeah, he diverts it. He's putting some bridges because the water runs through there, and it really, wreaks havoc. So he's made it. Yeah, it's made it pretty good.
Big props to him, man.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Wow. Now, I may not have to ask this question, but I think it's just now that like our mindset has changed so much with wider tire bikes. I have to kind of like rethink, like, a few years ago I was riding 40s. I thought that was wide and good for everything. Not so much anymore. What type of tire would you recommend for this course this time of year? Because I know like sometimes it plays differently. Because I remember when we did Strada Rosa, we were very lucky earlier this year that it just rained a couple days before and the surface was perfect. But I know definitely in fall, it's a much different story.
Yeah, I remember doing one of the first Strada Rosas, and everybody, there was some cyclocross bikes, but there was people on 28s, 25 road bikes, tires. So in theory, most anything with a wheel or tire could do it, but would that be the most fun? Not at all. So yeah, sadly, no, not all gravel bikes, because you're right. Some gravel bikes are cyclocross bikes that are, kind of a gravel conversion. 40s maybe your max. And yeah, I rode for 40s a long time too. And I thought, man, this is awesome. My current bike, I have 45s. So, there's some loose stuff, but not a lot. So, if you had the 35 tire and you're just aware, when I'm selling bikes at Don's Bikes, I'm always saying, if you're aware of what you're riding on and you just kind of ride accordingly, any tire will work. Definitely bigger's better. More traction is better. And then tire pressure is so important, which people sometimes don't realize. The tire pressure is really almost the biggest part of it all. So I'd say go as big as you can for the most comfort. But there's a fair amount, of road riding, that not a lot. A lot of it's, I'd call it downhill. So you're not doing a lot of dragging, but, kind of whatever's on I think any tire configuration will work. It's just, some of the fire roads are a little choppy. So yeah, if you can go with a 45 or a 40 will be fine. Just maybe check your tire pressure a little bit, because there's a lot of dirt compared to pavement. So, and I would say too, this is definitely hardtail mountain bike, efficient, maybe lighter mountain bike, just like with Strada Rosa, would work on this course also. And we all ride our gravel bikes, and then if you have to ride a mountain bike while you're doing your gravel ride, you kind of realize, wow, I can actually look around, enjoy the terrain, and look at the trees and the deer that was, looking at Greg. And then you get on your gravel bike, and you're just like, oh my gosh, but it's like, why do we ride these gravel bikes? Well, it's because it's fun and it heightens everything. But so if you have a mountain bike, by all means, come out and have a good time and, do it all. And if you don't want to do it all, just do what you can. And, I think it's just the community. We're talking about Michael Hill. I was talking about him and just kind of talking about the route, and it's going to be tough, and he's going to try to encourage a lot of people to do it as a group ride. Of course, people want to be out there. This is not a race. This is a fun ride. I want to express that. But there'll be people wanting to, push themselves and push each other. But this course, I feel, is more of going to be best suited for having fun and just riding as a group if you can, and just kind of chatting about the trails you're on and the views that are out there. So,
everybody that says that, right? This is not a race. Everybody's hammering and trying to kill each other. That guy Joe was trying to kill me out there. We were talking about it's not a race. It's like, no, man, we're racing.
We'll see if you feel it's like a race 40 miles in, though.
We'll see. We'll see.
Well, I'm sure there's no timing chips, but people still don't get the memo.
No number plates. Yeah, there's no number plates. Well, Strada Rosa doesn't do it either, and people still smash.
Yeah. Greg, do you have any notes for the people that are doing the road ride portion?
There you go. No, other than the course is well marked. Of course, we have the links to ride with GPS as well, so it's pretty clear. I do have to say one thing, and it'll probably annoy my wife who's sitting over in the corner, but she, like I say, she's been doing rest stops forever, and she has like almond butter filled dates. We were back in Aspen a few weeks ago, and we stumbled upon what we're calling the Aspen S'more, and it's graham cracker with a wedge of chocolate and marshmallow and almond butter and peanut butter, sandwiched by graham crackers. So that's going to be no bacon. My wife's vegan, but no bacon. But we're gonna have some pretty good stuff.
So am I.
Yeah,
Got you covered, Vic. We got you covered.
Oh, finally, I feel seen.
That's great. That's great. But seriously, when I hooked up with Don's bike shop last year, I was really excited because Oakland, that climb is epic, and the descent is awesome. And Sunset Loop, we just love Sunset Loop. I mean, other than if you go on the west side of San Bernardino and doing GMR, you really can't find anything in the Inland Empire any more beautiful and challenging and iconic than just having those two passes. And on the long ride, they're doing Oakland as well as Sunset Loop. But the short ride, I got some complaints from people who were doing 38 miles and 2,000 something feet of climbing. Well, you can't have Sunset Loop and not have some climbing, but it's spectacular, and just really excited to hook up with these guys at Don's. Paul's great. Everybody knows Paul loves him, and he brings out a lot of people. One other thing I got to say too, I hit up Michael a couple of recovery rides ago to say, hey, can I do a video for you that we can post? No, with my accent, and I'm kind of shy in front of the camera. And I come back to tell Paul that, and Paul said the equivalent of bullshit on him, but he wasn't willing to do a video. And to come on your site where you've got 11,800 subscribers, this is big time for us. So we're really honored to be here today or tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Well, Michael's been on here. He's not that shy.
Well, he's got a lot going on with his the event, the Strada Rosa, and he's gracious enough to help us out. So I did want to use, and he'll draw and bring a lot of his riders and friends. So we're appreciative of him. But yeah, I was thinking if we could do a video with him too, but and maybe we still will. But yeah,
he's a great guy. I'm probably just a lousy salesman. That's probably what it was.
Yeah. So no, we Don's Bikes always supports Strada Rosa every year. We have our SAGs, and it's all community is what it comes down to. So I'm just and to be able to be on here with you guys and promote what we're putting on, just to make people aware, and then like with the value that it is, because these events are getting expensive, and it's refreshing to do something for not a lot, and then we feel like you'll get a lot out of it. I mean, the SAG stops are so good. Like last year we had, goos and stuff, and usually those are the first things that go, but the food was so good. We actually had goos left over because people were eating the food and not taking the goos, which, it just usually most events, those are gone first. People load their pockets up, just for their ride. So, once again, we're trying to make it the best we can experience. And we just hope to see everybody out there. For the road and definitely the gravel too, for our first year in the gravel. So,
yeah, I mean, whenever people come out to Strada Rosa that are unfamiliar with the area, they're pretty surprised. Everything out there, even after seeing my videos, doesn't tell the whole story. You actually have to experience it and really think what a fun area is, and then ask yourself, how come my area is not as fun?
I got to do one last plug, if I may. Well, two plugs. First, we're doing out of an independent bike shop, and they need our support. Those are the epicenter of our cycling culture. I don't care where you are, whether it's California or New York or wherever. That's the epicenter of the cycling culture. So to have it on out of a bike shop is really meaningful to me. And number two, turnout's looking pretty good this year. If anybody wants to come along and their significant other or the kids or whatever want to volunteer instead of sitting in the car waiting for 3 hours or 4 hours, we're looking for volunteers. So you can call me at Greg Armstrong, 714-204-9124. Once again, 714-204-9124. If you're interested in volunteering, because we do have positions available. Isn't that right, Paul?
Is that hiring now? Yes.
We'll give you a burger or a hot dog out of it.
Yes, and we will have non-meat options. So
that's true. I think Impossible, right? Yeah, we're doing Impossible burger. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Are you okay with those, Vic?
I'm stoked.
Awesome. I don't know about vegan cheese, but we'll definitely have Impossible burgers.
Well, and like you said, most importantly, like this is a great gateway for people that haven't, been into a gravel event before, because it's also low cost. You don't have to do rock cobbler, hike a bike type action for 80 miles in, and the community is just fantastic. And I think that part of the reason these events happen is that people love where they ride and they love the people they're around, and they want to showcase that. And I think it definitely fuels other people what it could be like in their community. So I think Redlands is one of the best gravel communities I've come across here in California, and very unique. And I definitely feel very acclimated to it, even though I don't live, in the area, because you just know that everyone is just so open and just so supportive. So, it's great to add another gravel event to this, and to get people out. So, anyways, well, thanks very much for joining us. I left the link in the description to the event and to help out Matt. So, we appreciate Greg and Paul coming on tonight. And that's October 25th, which is a Saturday. Starts at 8 o'clock. I picked that up.
8 o'clock sharp.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thanks.
Good night.